A lot of people have been here. Oh, kia ora everyone. Well, a lot of people have been here at different times, and a lot of us know the name Grovetown or Big Bush. Grovetown really just come from cutting a bridle track through the trees that were here, and the name Tuamātene came from three wetlands areas. There was this one, Tuamātene, around that lake there, that springs, where Tuamātene lives, where his house is. That's actually the old pā site. And so when we got this building back, didn't know what the ritual is for moving back onto one of your own pā sites. So I consulted with my cultural advisor from Hikoi up in Wellington, Tuamātene, and him and Po Temura said, oh, if you just get some of your old fires, because you're just warming your place back up. So we got some burnt stones from over there, rolled them under this building, and I think Rick and Chock lit a fire here and lit one down at the gate, and everyone came through for breakfast, and that's really sort of how we warmed our fires up again. The first people to hire this for a hui was Ngāti Kuia. So while all the rangatanes were busy arguing who should be on the committee, I think it was Raymond rang up because Ngāti Kuia was having a hui, so they came out and so they showed us what a marae could function like, and that was really good. The next so that's the Tuamātene wetland. The one up the road is called Tuamātene, and that's who the moat tree really named after. Awarua Park is the Rangitane pā site up there. Can't really talk too much about that because we've got some Ngaitahu's here amongst us, but that was the place where Rangitane and Ngaitahu had a battle, and Ngaitahu got moved a bit further down that way where they got another hiding at a place called Ruataniwha, and then they got moved out to the bar, and it goes on. It's just in the High Court now, but that's a part of us. The last swamp is a place called Tuamātene, which we call Tuamarina, and that will figure today. So that's the relationship of this place. The relationship of this place to Hikoi Koda is they were here cutting timber down in this area, and old Hikoi came along and he asked them who they were paying rent for cutting the timber down, and they told him to leave because they no doubt had a permit from someone, as was the custom then. But he was making sure that the people around here knew that they had to pay timber royalties. And because that was difficulty, that's why Rangitane, Ngāti Kuia and Ngāti Apa didn't take any forests in the settlement, because that was a great grievance. And we didn't want to take forests, we just took money and carbon credits. Cut that out. The reason why I like this place was the Crown didn't want it. There's a septic tank over there. The old Grovetown school was here after the Rangitane pā site was here. So Mum and Vern Stafford and all those ones, when the pā got flooded out, they used to come here to school, and it was a bit of a walk, as you can imagine. Then the Crown decided, once the forestry had moved on, Doc got the new place out at Renwick, they didn't want this, and they had this protection mechanism. And what happened, if you could show you had an association to this place, well, you could put a brass plaque on it before they sold it. So we decided, oh well, we might actually try and ask for the whole lot back. And so we presented evidence about our association with the springs, with the wetland, with some of the pā sites that are here, the urupā that's over down Watson's Road. And the Crown officials thought that that was probably the best level of evidence they'd seen, and so they said it could be given back to Rangitane in the early 1990s. But Ngāti Rārua and Ngāti Toa, they objected to that on the basis that Rangitane were a subjugated and enslaved people and had no rights to the resumption of any Crown land. So it went to the Maori Land Court, and the Maori Land Court didn't go with that. So then Ngāti Toa bowed out, and Ngāti Rārua then took it to the Māori Appellate Court, and it was a split decision, but the Crown came back and they said to us that we could lease this place until such times as the settlement process vested it in us. And so it was on that basis we just started using it as a marae. And as I say, Ngāti Koe showed us to start off how you could actually do it. You just don't argue with everyone, you just occupy it. Shit, there's a good idea, even though we're locked out today. So that's really, this is really the first piece of property that we got back.
In the middle of the 19th century, there was a number of men who had learnt to read and write and started to record whole lots of whakapapa into these manuscripts. So people like Meihana Kiriopa, Tahuariki Meihana, Tiote MacDonald, Pouhemi, Peter MacDonald, they had all got together and they started recording these whakapapa, and Ihaya Kaikoura was one of their informants. Okay, so in the late 1870s, when we were gearing up to participate in what was known as the Smith-Nean Commission, these scribes would go around different places and record these whakapapa. So we're actually quite lucky that that lots of this whakapapa is actually what Ihaya Kaikoura told Meihana and Tahuariki, and then when the census committee got up and going, Peter and Tuiti were able to, well, they tried to forward our case. So what we tried to do was, Ihaya had no descendants. His sister had descendants, and I don't think there are any here today, there's no greys here today, but Ihaya had a number of first cousins, and you'll see at the bottom here, everybody here will descend from one of these people. Okay, so we're all connected in some way to Ihaya Kaikoura, and I think that's a point to take away with us when we get out to the out to Pukahiwi. We'll talk a little bit about those connections as well.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Right.
So from here we're off to the usual car park at the Waito Bar.